to order. First of all, we have introductions, and I'll start off with myself, and we'll go across the screen from right to left, and everyone can tell the whole crew who they are and why they're here. I'm Dave Mennel. I'm the mayor of Malahide, and I'm the warden of Elgin County for this year. And so I will pass it over to you, Brian, and then we'll go around the screen.
Good morning, folks. Brian Lima, Director of Engineering Services.
Kim?
Yeah, Kim Smale. I'm one of the citizen appointments.
Catherine?
Catherine Thompson, Supervisor of Legislative Services for the County of Elgin.
Rob?
Rob Brom, business owner. I don't know what I'm under, a civilian or a business owner at this time, but I'm really happy to be part of this group, and hopefully we can all join together and make a little bit of difference.
Thanks, Rob. Grant? You're muted, Grant.
Yeah, Grant Jones, I'm County Councilor and Mayor of Southwold Town. I'm looking forward to this.
You need to speak into the mic, Grant. We're breaking up.
Sorry, it's probably my connection. Grant Jones, I'm a County Councilor and also the Mayor of Southwold Township. Looking forward to this committee. I was appointed by the warden to sit here, and I think you should enjoy this immensely.
Thanks, Grant. Julie?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Gagnon, the Chief Administrative Officer for the County of Elgin. I'd like to welcome all new members of the Connectivity Committee. We look forward to working with you.
Okay, Michaela, you jumped around, so we're going to go to you next. It is Michaela, correct?
Last one, too.
Michaela, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I just had a short blackout on the meeting. My name is Michaela Lenz. I'm also a citizen appointee, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you for the benefit of our county.
Thank you. Ray? You're muted. There you go.
Ray Price from Eagle, and a volunteer for the committee. I'm going to enjoy it.
Thank you, Ray. Rob?
Is there two Robs, or I went?
No, you jumped around on me. So now we got Sarah.
My name is Sarah Emmons, and I am a Southwold Township Councillor.
And is there anyone else? Oh, Sarah, I'm sorry, Sally. I'm looking at you. Sally's there beside me. I don't know if you can see. Yes, you can see Sally.
Yeah, I'm Sally Martin, and I'm a councillor on the County of Elgin, Mayor of Central Elgin. And this has been a passion of mine for a long time, and I've worked with some of you before. So on this committee, and glad we were able to form this committee.
Thank you, Sally. Is there anyone else, Catherine?
Yes, we have Primrose. She's on the phone.
I'm sorry. What's the name?
Primrose.
Hi.
Go ahead, Primrose.
Hi, my name is Primrose Kisule. I guess I'm just a volunteer or like a citizen's advisory. I'm here to find out my exact position on the committee, but I'm glad to be here.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, Catherine, you're doing the terms and conditions of conduct?
I am. Just let me share my screen. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. So this is just, this part of the presentation is a little bit of a housekeeping, and I'll try to go over it relatively quickly. You've all been sent a copy of the terms of reference of the committee, as well as the Elgin County Code of Conduct. So I won't dwell too long on that. First, we'll discuss the terms of reference. The Environmental Committee is an advisory committee reporting to Council. An advisory committee has no binding decision-making authority. The role of the committee is to provide input, advice, and make recommendations on environmental matters affecting the County of Elgin. The term of appointment of members coincides with the term of County Council. Meetings will occur approximately once a month and will be called at the discretion of the chair. When possible, there is consultation of the committee as to when these meetings will take place. And staff supports for this committee are the Chief Administrative Officer and then myself, the Supervisor of Legislative Services. The committee's mandate is to serve as an advisory resource and information support group to the Rural Initiatives and Planning Advisory Committee, Municipal Council, and all its committees as required, and to the citizenry to encourage and promote sustainable programs and functions such as waste reduction, reuse and recycling programs, water and energy conservation measures, and climate change mitigation. Also to investigate such other aspects of environmental concern as may be suggested by County Council, its other committees, or civic administration. And to initiate and receive submissions or delegations regarding any environmental concerns and to report with recommendations to either the Rural Initiatives and Planning Advisory Committee or to County Council as appropriate. So that's just a little brief overview of the terms of reference. And now we'll discuss just a little bit about the Code of Conduct. It's a rather lengthy document, so we won't discuss it all here, just the sections that are particularly relevant. As members of the Environmental Committee, you have received a copy of this document. And so we are just going to focus on general duties, conflict of interest, interactions with the public, other members of the committee and county staff, and confidential information. The County of Elgin Code of Conduct is applicable to the warden, the deputy warden, all members of County Council, members of the public who have been appointed to committees and advisory boards, such as yourselves. So Part 5 of the Code of Conduct discusses general duties that every member shall adhere to. So every member shall abide by all applicable legislation, policies, and procedures pertaining to their position as a member. They will serve and be seen to serve their constituents in a conscientious and diligent manner. They will conduct their dealings with each other in a way that maintains public confidence in the position to which they have been elected or appointed. Members will be open and honest and focus on the issues rather than personalities and avoid aggressive, offensive, or abusive conduct. They will accurately and adequately communicate the attitudes and decisions of the council, even if they disagree with the council's decision. Sorry, I'm having a little, oh, there we go. They will conduct themselves at all council and committee meetings with decorum, and they will exercise his or her powers and discharge his or her official duties in accordance with the following guiding principles: to seek to advance the common good of Elgin County, to exercise care, diligence, and skill that a reasonably prudent person would exercise in similar circumstances, to exercise his or her powers only for the purposes for which they were intended, and to truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise his or her office to the best of his or her knowledge and ability. Part 6 of the Code of Conduct deals with conflict of interest. So members have a strict obligation to avoid conflicts of interest by taking the following steps whenever they feel that they have a direct or indirect pecuniary interest in any matter that is before the committee in a meeting where the member is present. So 1, they must disclose the general nature of their interest prior to any consideration of the matter in the meeting. So they must verbally disclose it at the meeting and also in writing to the clerk, so our CAO, Julie Gagnon. They must refrain from participating in the discussion of the matter or vote on the matter, and they must refrain from attempting to influence the voting on the matter or question before, during, or after the meeting. Members are responsible for ensuring that they are familiar with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act, and complaints are subject to investigation by the Integrity Commissioner. Part 8 of the Code of Conduct deals with interactions with the public, other members of the committee, and county staff. Members have a duty to treat members of the public, each other, and staff with respect and dignity and without abuse, bullying, or intimidation. Members have a duty to ensure that the county's work environment is safe and free from discrimination and harassment, and inquiries of employees from members should be directed to the Chief Administrative Officer or the appropriate department head. Part 10 talks about confidential information. So members shall hold in strict confidence all confidential information concerning matters that are dealt with in-camera sessions. No member shall release, make public, or in any way divulge any such confidential information or any aspect of the in-camera deliberations unless expressly authorized by council or required by law. No member shall use information gained in the execution of his or her office that is not available to the general public for any purpose other than his or her official duties. Members are only entitled to confidential information in the possession of the county that is relevant to matters before the council or committee. Beyond this entitlement, members have the same level of access to information as does any other citizen. So that's just a little bit of an overview of the pertinent sections of the Code of Conduct. If you have any questions, feel free to send us a message and we'll be happy to answer them. And if you want, you can read the entire document that we've sent to you. The next section is also a little bit of housekeeping. Eventually, we will need to elect a chair for this committee. Chair will be elected from the members at the first official meeting of the committee and will need to be re-elected annually. Today's meeting is considered an orientation session as opposed to the first meeting for the purposes of introducing members to one another, providing background information on committee membership, and providing details regarding the current environmental initiatives at the County of Elgin. So our next scheduled meeting will be where the chair is elected. At this session, the committee will agree on a date for our first official meeting, and at this meeting, the chair will be elected from within the membership. Those interested in acting as the chair should put their name forward at the next meeting and a vote will take place. So that's it for our first item on the agenda regarding the terms of reference and the Code of Conduct and the election of a chair.
Other comments on the Code of Conduct or the conditions?
Just one question maybe regarding confidential information. It's the first time that I'm serving on a board like that. So would that be specifically marked or mentioned that things are confidential?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, Catherine, we'll go to the environmental initiatives.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. The next section of the presentation discusses current initiatives, environmental initiatives that are being undertaken by the County of Elgin, just to give the committee a bit of reference as to what's being done. I'm going to discuss the first section and then I'll turn it over to our Director of Engineering Services, Brian Lima. So our libraries have implemented an e-green recycling program in partnership with the STEAM Center in the City of St. Thomas. The program was temporarily suspended as a result of COVID-19, but the program will continue in the fall at 5 of Elgin County's library branches. So this is where residents are able to bring their electronic goods to be recycled. Pre-pandemic, the library had transitions to making more sustainable choices in regards to the arts and crafts supplies and prizes that they used during their library programming, avoiding one-time consumables and goods as prizes in place of reusable items such as chalkboards. The libraries, by their very nature, promote the sharing economy. They recirculate collections based on criteria to ensure the maximum use before replacing. Our integration of digital resources in the libraries also reduces waste. The libraries are making sustainable choices when it comes to the response to the pandemic. They have chose to quarantine returned materials for 72 hours to eliminate the possibility of COVID-19 contamination. This also means that they do not have to be wiped with sanitary supplies each time they are returned, which is becoming a major source of waste in many sectors. All departments at the county process their invoices electronically to cut down on paper waste. All departments use Laserfiche as a digital repository to reduce paper storage needs. Printer defaults at the county are set to automatically print documents on both sides. Recycling bins are located in staff offices and common areas such as lunchrooms. Our long-term care homes have switched to paper straws and metal spoons to reduce plastic waste. There was the decision that council made to redevelop Terrace Lodge instead of a completely new build and to utilize existing infrastructure. Our long-term care homes also recycle cans and glass bottles from the kitchens. And the next section, if I can turn it over the next couple of slides to Brian Lima to discuss.
Thank you, Catherine. County Engineering Services have prepared an energy conservation demand management plan, which was tabled before County Council in the fall of 2019, which detailed a set of targets to reduce its consumption of fuels and electricity in all of our county operations, with a focus specific on facilities, and the goal of reducing that dependence by 2% per year over the next several years. Next slide, please. On the roads discipline, each year, Elgin County's transportation capital projects include a series of road sections that are typically rehabilitated using cold-in-place recycling rehabilitation methodologies that are aimed at reducing the life cycle costs of pavement structure by reusing the existing asphalt pavement. This process generally uses 100% reclaimed asphalt pavement mixed with a new binder. The cold nature of this process reduces the impact on the environment and preserves energy due to the absence of heat. This method is widely used due to its cost effectiveness, higher life cycle, and ease of construction. From a cost standpoint, from an energy consumption standpoint, it is approximately 20% as compared to the placement of new hot mix asphalt. Next slide. County has also, in partnership with St. Thomas Public Health and the City of St. Thomas, along with our Elgin partners, have developed in 2014 a cycling master plan, which serves as a blueprint for future bikeway planning, design, and implementation. To date, list of roads which have received paved shoulders or cycling facilities include portions of Sunset Road, East Road, Imperial Road, Dexter Line, Graham Road, and Pioneer Line. The plan also identifies 4 sections that are scheduled to receive cycling facilities within the next 5 years. It includes this year, recently completed, a further extension of cycling facilities along Dexter Line, completed earlier this year as well. Portions of Sparta Line and Quaker Road were completed as part of the Village of Sparta reconstruction. And next year, Village of Rodney cycling lane installation facilities will be installed as part of a reconstruction project plan there. And then in 2024, the final section of Dexter Line linking Port Stanley and Port Bruce will see cycling facilities installed there. It's also important to note that Ontario Traffic Manual Book 18, which addresses cycling facilities, is currently under review and being updated and will guide future route selection and design of future cycling facilities. As the Cycling Master Plan implementation evolves across Elgin County, a comprehensive review in collaboration with the parties, as previously mentioned, will be prudent and will be completed so as to ensure compliance with any book updates in that regard.
Thank you, Brian. So that concludes that section of the presentation about the initiatives that are currently being undertaken at the county in regards to the environment. And we just thought it would be a good thing for staff to explain what's already being done so that the committee is aware of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. Is there any questions, either Brian or Catherine, on the environmental initiatives that we've already taken care of? Seeing none, we'll move on to the government jurisdictions.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. The next part of this presentation is a discussion about the different levels of government and who is responsible for the provision of different services and programs within Elgin County as they relate to the natural environment. The first is the Fisheries and Oceans Canada, which is a Government of Canada organization. And they also operate the Canadian Coast Guard. And they manage Canada's fisheries and safeguard its waters by sustainably managing fisheries and aquaculture, working with fishers, coastal and Indigenous communities to enable their continued prosperity from fish and seafood. They ensure that Canada's oceans and other aquatic ecosystems are protected from negative impacts. They ensure commercial vessels and recreational boaters can safely navigate our waters. And they are there to save lives and protect our environment when emergencies arise. Probably more, the committee may be more familiar with conservation authorities and how they operate within our communities under the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, and they are governed by the Conservation Authorities Act. They provide the following services within communities: natural hazard management, flood and erosion control, ice management, flood forecasting and warning, drought, low water programs, clean water protection under the Clean Water Act. They provide advice to municipalities on natural hazard management. They regulate development and other activities in areas affected by water-based natural hazards, so floodplains, shorelines, and wetlands, through a permitting process. And they also may deliver programs that address local priorities such as stewardship and conservation, so tree planting and habitat restoration, watershed studies, research and education programs, recreation programs, so operating conservation authorities, and there are a few in Elgin County, and then other services they may provide to municipalities, so advice on stormwater management, tree planting, assessment of environmental impacts, and septic system reviews. And then there's just a link in the presentation that you all received to the website that talks about conservation authorities. And so these are provincial. And then there is the County of Elgin. So the County of Elgin is responsible for providing the following services in accordance with relevant provincial legislation. So we operate our county facilities, so our administration building, our provincial offences court, our heritage center, a few land ambulance stations, and then our 3 long-term care homes. We have our internal operations, so there's county council, administration, human resources, IT, accessibility, finance, community emergency management, and legal services. We also have planning, so we are the approval authority for Elgin County, and we have a land division committee. Previously mentioned our 3 long-term care homes, Beaubear Villa, Elgin Manor, and Terrace Lodge. Our provincial offences administration. We are responsible for county roads, so the arterial roads running through Elgin County. Economic development and tourism in terms of promotion and dissemination of information. Land ambulance services. And social services is provided by the City of St. Thomas, but on behalf of the County of Elgin. We do tree commissioner and weed inspection services. We have cultural services that runs our libraries, archives, and the museum. And then transportation strategy planning. We also have 7 local municipal partners across the County of Elgin. And they are responsible for many services, including local roads, water distribution, wastewater collection and treatment, garbage and recycling collection, municipally owned parkland, recreational facilities, collection of stormwater and drainage, animal control, building codes, local planning services, marriage certificates, etc. There are many services that the local municipalities provide. The activities and initiatives of this committee are limited to those that are within the county sphere of jurisdiction. So the committee must therefore find creative ways to have a meaningful impact on the corporation's environmental footprint. Staff are recommending that our first official meeting of the Environmental Advisory Committee include a brainstorming session with facilitator Jennifer Kirkham that will help us to establish the committee's purpose and set achievable, measurable goals and determine our next steps. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for Catherine on the government jurisdictions and what the county does?
All good.
Everybody's good? Okay. Well, we're almost at, is there anything else, Catherine, for this meeting on the orientation?
That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions from any of the committee members about where we're going and what is expected of them? I know we've given you a lot to absorb in the first first half hour. If there's no questions, those who are interested in being a chair, certainly put your name forward. We'll deal with that at the next meeting. And is everybody comfortable with Wednesday mornings? That seems to be good for everyone. The second Wednesday of November is Remembrance Day, so I'm going to suggest the first Wednesday, which is going to be the 4th. So the November 4th at 10 o'clock, is that good with everyone?
That's
So did you say November 4th?
November the 4th, yes, at 10 o'clock.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm fine.
If there's no issues with that one, then we'll make the next meeting on November the 4th at 10 o'clock. Is there an agenda that will be sent out prior to that, Catherine? And come with two things. One, how you, things that you would like to see happen in the county as far as the environmental committee goes. And as anyone that's interested in being chair. So that's it for, Sally?
Just one thing I would say is that if you're interested in meeting in person at all, we can take a certain number in the council chambers.
Yes, what's our capacity here, Catherine?
No. 10.
10.
10? Okay. So certainly we do have, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can accommodate almost the whole committee if anybody wants to meet in the council chambers for our next meeting. Or virtual is fine too, so that's your option. Okay, is there anything else that anyone wishes to make comment before we close? Seeing none. Just one question for you, Brian. Are you in the office right now?
Yes.
Okay, I've got a couple of things to run over with you. And Julie, I'm going to talk to you after that. Okay, thank you all for attending this morning. And we will see everyone next month. Take care, folks.
Thank you. Take care.